Hello all, my name is CRC Lukens and I am available for most of the administrative support this summer for the Carbon Reduction Challenge. So we wanted to briefly go over how this program will work this summer and the general timeline of the process. As we have stated, this year is unique and unlike Professor Cobb's spring course or our past cycles. And while we have slightly different deliverables this year, we are no less excited about the outcome that you will provide for your companies to be a part of the climate change solution. So here is the timeline for this summer. This timeline does offer flexible weeks for deadlines, but this is still aggressive to keep you and your project on track. We understand that you will all be on a slightly different timeline, but in order to complete and compete, this timeline provides you firm goals and deadlines throughout the summer. So you're starting this week, June 1st, with orienting yourself to the Carbon Reduction Challenge. After you watch these videos, we ask you to please fill out the short quiz to help us gauge your understanding. This can be found on the website where you signed up. I'll show you later in a later slide where to find these resources and deliverables that we're asking for. The following week, if you haven't already, we ask you to ask permission from your supervisor or identify the organization that you're partnering with. In years past, a supportive supervisor can help familiarize yourself with your company and find out how to send out the survey. They might also suggest a sustainability champion to help you with your project. A sustainability champion can be a variety of people. Your company might have a designated Office of Sustainability, or you might want to talk to the facilities team. Other participants in past cycles have identified an employee group or a small group of individuals that are interested in topics such as sustainability in their workspace to help them move projects forward. Once you have found someone to work with, send out that pre-survey. A template of the pre-survey will be provided by our team and can be found on the website and in weekly emails. So then after you send out the pre-survey, we'll give you about 2 weeks on the timeline and ask that by July 3rd you gather your input and write up a scoping document. Office hours will be available to help you identify one behavior that has changed the most in your company to further do a deep dive for your next step as the in-depth survey. The second half of July will be used to send out that survey and then gather your data, write up the results, which include calculating the carbon and cost calculations and recommendations for low carbon work behaviors. Resources will be provided to help you create those final calculations and the presentation, which will then be judged the week of August 10th through 14th for our prizes. I wanted to also talk a little bit about how we will communicate with you this summer. We provide weekly emails for any updates and to do a check-in. This will be kept as concise as possible, but offer a lot of important guidance and information to help you move your project forward. So please read these. But also please don't be afraid to email us. Our email is carbonreduction@gautech.edu. If you haven't emailed us before or been to our website yet, I do have it written out on the last slide in this video for you to take down. On top of the weekly emails, in between these due dates, we will have 4 weeks with office hours staggered at a couple different times within the week for you to review your projects with Professors Cobb and Toktai, as well as other coaches. And again, even with these office hours, we're still available to answer any questions you have via email, not on those weeks as well. You might recognize the front page of our website on this slide from when you applied, but since recording this video, we now have a tab for the resources. The resource tab will be up on the top ribbon, and that will be a place where you can access the resources and the deliverables I talked about in earlier slides, throughout the month of June as we update them. We ask you to please be patient as we do have to tweak some of our resources to better help you create quality deliverables for this cycle. Resources that I'm talking about include the pre- and in-depth survey templates you will send out, as well as the scoping tool to help you identify your behaviors that you will be gathering information on in the in-depth survey from your results from your pre-survey. We will also have examples of how to calculate the financials and carbon calculations and guidelines for final presentations, including a rubric for what we will judge on in the final competition. We will also use this website to gather deliverables. More will be included on how to do this in the next weekly email. We look forward to working with you this summer, and again, please do not hesitate to contact us. Thank you.